Thank you, Vice Mayor Zhou. Now I wish to give the floor to Minister Gao Huchen from the Ministry of Commerce of China. Your Excellency, Prime Minister Modi, distinguished guests, and in particular Minister Ying Weiming from the Ministry of Welfare, and Ambassador Le, Ambassador Kang, distinguished leaders from the Chinese and the Indian business communities. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, good morning. It gives me great honor to attend the China-India Business Forum in Shanghai. Let me begin by extending warm congratulations on the opening of this business forum on behalf of the Ministry of Commerce of China, and I wish to extend my warm welcome to the visiting Indian business people. Prime Minister Modi, this business forum is a very important business event during your visit to China this time. It's your first visit to China since you took office as Prime Minister. Both China and India attach great importance to this visit, and the business community has high expectation on your visit. This fully demonstrates the commitment of you, Prime Minister Modi, and the Indian people to the business cooperation between our two countries. During your visit in China, you have met with President Xi, Premier Li, and Chairman Zhang. And Chinese and Indian leaders reached consensus on how to build a sustainable economic partnership, how to enrich and expand our cooperation. Just now, Your Excellency, Prime Minister Modi met with Chinese and Indian business leaders. It is fair to say that your visit to China this time has generated fruitful results in commercial and other fields. The visit is a complete success. I wish to take this opportunity to express my heartfelt congratulations to you, Mr. Prime Minister, and your delegation. China and India are close neighbors and natural partners. In history, China and India enjoy close exchanges, and many good examples can be seen. Mahatma Gandhi once observed that China and India are fellow travelers, sharing women war in a common journey. Chinese high monks Fa Xian and Xuan Zang visited India to seek Buddhist scriptures, while Indian high monks Kumarajiva and Bodhidharma brought Buddhist scriptures to China. They are good examples just in the past 1,000 years between our two countries. Today, China and India exchanges and cooperation have reached unprecedented depths and breadth. In particular, our business cooperation has been moving on a faster track. Our two-way trade in goods has exceeded $70 billion, and the contract value of the contracted projects has reached $64 billion. Chinese companies have invested nearly $3 billion in India, and we enjoy good cooperation in power generation, transportation, and information technology. As two of the most dynamic emerging economies in the world, China and India bilateral relations are not just bilateral relations, but with global and regional influence. There are great potentials for further cooperation between our two countries. It will not only bring benefits to 2.5 billion Chinese and Indian people, but also deliver a strong boost to economic growth in Asia and the whole world. We need to join hands treat each other with sincerity and strive for a community of common destiny featuring peaceful development, cooperative development, mutually beneficial development, and inclusive development. Ladies and gentlemen, the development between China and India shows that only cooperation and openness can bring development. Our experience in the past 30 years in China is that while benefiting itself, China's reform and opening up has also brought benefits to foreign businesses operating in China. We are very glad to see that under your leadership, Prime Minister Modi, India is vigorously promoting reform and opening up. We are confident that Chinese and Indian to India, and now you are visiting China. This shows that the commercial cooperation between China and India have entered a new period of opportunities. Chinese and Indian business communities should seize this opportunity, tap potentials, and seek mutually beneficial and win-win development. Mr. Deng Xiaoping, the chief architect of China's reform and opening up, once observed that the true Asia century will only come when China, India, and their neighboring countries develop. In pursuing national rejuvenation and prosperity, China stands ready to work with India, promote development, write a new brilliant chapter of commercial cooperation between China and India, and bring more benefits to both Chinese and Indian people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gao Hucheng. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear friends.
Now let's welcome Prime Minister Modi to give his speech.
The leaders on dais and the delegates from the India and China business community. Friends, I'm really happy to be here with you. Before coming to this forum, I had every detailed discussion with the CEOs of major Chinese companies. I'm sure our interactions today will lead to benefits to the people and business of the two countries. Along with me, a number of officials and prominent Indian CEOs are also present here. As you know, China and India are two great and old civilizations of the world. They have provided many lights of knowledge to the entire human society. Today, together, they represent more than 1/3 of the global population. India and China have a common history of 5,000 years and a common boundary of over 3,400 kilometers. 2,000 years ago, at the invitation of the Chinese Emperor Ming, 2 Indian monks came to China. They brought many Sanskrit scriptures on 2 white horses. They translated many Buddhist scriptures into Chinese language. It is believed that they introduced Buddhism in China. The king built a temple in honor of White Horse Temple. The temple then increased in importance as Buddhism grew within China and spread to Korea, Japan and Vietnam. The serenity of Buddhism in Asian countries is the seed of their success. I strongly believe that this century belongs to Asia. And Buddhism will be a further unifying and catalyzing force among the Asian countries. Your famous scholars like Faxian and Saranjang have taught many secrets of Chinese wisdom to Indians. In addition, they discovered many secrets within India itself. Saranjang had visited my own hometown in Gujarat. From his works, we know today that there was a Buddhist monastery there. When Saranjang returned to China, he brought with him Sanskrit scriptures and books of wisdom. The traditional system of medicine of the 2 countries based on natural elements also have a lot in common. In recent times too, this theme of knowledge is flowing across our borders. Professor Chi Shanil of Peking University was a great Sanskrit scholar. He spent most of his part of his life in translating Valmiki's Ramayana into Chinese. Indian government has honored him by bestowing prestigious award in 2008. More recently, Professor Chin Ting Han has translated Tulsi Ramayana into Chinese. Translations of Bhagavad Gita and Mahabharata are also popular with Chinese people. I thank these Chinese scholars for introducing Indian culture to the Chinese people. Friends, India has always been a knowledge society. Wherever you have been an innovating society, ancient China was highly advanced in science and technology. Like Indians, the Chinese, they too sailed to Americas and distant corners of the world in their ships. They had the marine compass and gunpowder. But I must add that during this time, Indian astronomy and mathematics were quite popular in China. Indian astronomers were appointed on the official boards set up to prepare calendars. The Indian concept of zero and discoveries in China. So our ideas had a role to play in your innovations. Thus, we have a lot in common and we can do a lot together. As we help each other growing spiritually, we have to help each other growing economically. There are instances of such economic exchanges in the past. It is below that China gave silk and paper to India. We both have potential of growth and problems of poverty which we can tackle together. I am personally committed to take the cooperative process forward. That is why, even as Chief Minister of Gujarat, I visited China. As Prime Minister,
तो आप देख रहे थे शंघाई से सीधा प्रसारण, जहां पर इंडो चाइना फोरम को प्रियंका प्रधानमंत्री संबोधित कर रहे हैं। उन्होंने कहा कि ये सदी जो है वो एशिया की सदी है और जिस तरह से भारत और चाइना के रिश्ते हैं बहुत पुराने हैं। दो बौद्ध भिक्षु का उन्होंने जिक्र किया जो पहली बार भारत आए और उन्होंने बुद्धिज्म की जो स्थापना यहाँ पर की उसकी शुरुआत की।
They actually went to China and took Buddhism there, is what the Prime Minister was talking about. And he also invoked the convergence that the two countries have and the potential for growth is what he's talking about, how both these countries can go together. He talked about the problems that we share, also problems of poverty, but he talked about the immense potential for growth that both countries share. Remember, Jyotika, a little while ago, he also talked about, he had met those CEOs of top Chinese companies and, the kind of interest that they showed in India, in the Make in India campaign, also Digital India, a lot of CEOs did show that interest and
जी बिल्कुल। और प्रियंका, जिस तरह से बहुत सारे जो पैक्ट है वो साइन होंगे, बहुत सारे ट्रीटीज पे साइन किए जाएंगे, आर्थिक जगत की अगर बात की जाए इस पर बहुत सारी बातें हो सकती हैं, इस पर आगे किस तरह से काम किया जाएगा, व्यापार पर ज्यादा जोर दिया जाएगा। इस बार जो मुख्य बिंदु होगा वो व्यापार होगा, किस तरह से दोनों देशों के व्यापार को बढ़ाया जा सकता है। जिस तरह से अभी आपने भी कहा कि पॉवर्टी को किस तरह से दूर किया जाएगा, गरीबी दोनों देश अगर मिल जाएं, जो कि बहुत बड़ी जनसंख्या बन जाती है पूरी अगर दुनिया की बात करें तो।
We have refined our foreign direct investment policy in construction. We are also coming up with a regulatory framework for this sector. We have targeted 175 gigawatt of renewable energy in next 5 years. In addition to generation, the issues of transmission and distribution of electricity are equally important for us. We are modernizing our railway system, including signals, engines, and railway stations. We are planning metro rail in 50 cities and high-speed trains in various corridors. Similar is the case with highways, which we want to build in faster way. We are putting up new ports and modernizing the old ones through an ambitious plan called Sagarmala. Similar focus is on upgrading the existing airports and putting up regional airports to enhance connectivity to places of economic and tourist importance. In financial services too, we are moving towards a more inclusive and faster delivery of financial products, including bank loans and insurance. For this purpose, we opened 140 million bank accounts, increased foreign direct investment and insurance up to 49%, and have set up Mudra Bank to fund the micro businesses. Recently, I have launched innovative schemes for insurance and pension to enhance social security of our citizens. In March this year, I had a discussion with Jack Ma of Alibaba in Delhi about possible cooperation for strengthening this microcredit sector of India. As you have successfully done, we also want to promote manufacturing in a big way, particularly to create jobs for our youth, who forms 65% of our population. Hence, we want to make things in India. For the purpose, we have launched a campaign called Make in India. It is also effort of my government to encourage innovation, R&D and entrepreneurship in country. In this year's budget, we have set up some innovative institutional mechanism for that purpose. We have to learn from you about the development of labor-intensive industries, creating conditions for sustainable foreign direct investment, skill development, infrastructure creation, and export-led development model. All this is a historic opportunity for the Chinese companies. You would already be doing the direction of my government and the steps we are taking. We have committed ourselves for creating and improving the business environment. I can assure you that once you decide to be in India, we are confident to make you more and more comfortable. Many Chinese companies have the possibility of investing in India to take advantage of India's potentials. The potential lies in manufacturing processing as well as in infrastructure. I am here to assure you that India's economic environment has changed. Our regulatory regime is much more transparent, responsive and stable. We are taking a long-term and futuristic views on these issues. Lot of efforts have been made and are still underway to improve the ease of doing business. We do believe that foreign direct investment is important and it will not come in the country without globally competitive business environment. Therefore, we have rationalized a number of issues which were bothering the investors. In particularly, we are making the taxation system transparent, stable and predictable. We have removed lot of regressive taxation regimes. In our very first budget, we said we will not resort to retrospective taxation. We are reducing the complicated procedures, making them available at the one platform, preferably online. Simplifying the forms and formats has been taken up on board footing. Definite mechanism for hand-holding have been set up in the form of hub and spoke model. Invest India is the nodal agency for this purpose. In this year's budget, we allowed tax pass-through for AIFs, rationalization of capital gains for REITs, modification in PE norms, and deferring the implementation of GAAR for 2 years. We have fast-tracked approvals in industry and infrastructure. This includes environmental clearances, extending the industrial licenses, delicensing of defense items, and simplification of cross-border trade. Within a very short time, we introduced GST bill in Parliament. Similarly, for infrastructure development, we have taken some far-reaching steps. First of all, we have made an all-time high allocation for roads and railway sectors. In addition, we are setting up India Infrastructure Investment Fund. We have also allowed tax-free bonds in the infrastructure sector, including roads and railways. We know that a lot more has to be done. But we are committed to take this process forward. We are constantly working to improve the business environment further. However, our initial measures have helped in building up an enhanced investor confidence. The sentiments for private investment and inflow of foreign investment are positive. Foreign direct investment inflow have gone up by 39% during April 2014 and February 2015, against the same period in previous year. Our growth rate is above 7%. Most of the international financial institutions, including the World Bank, IMF, OECD, and others, are predicting even faster growth and even better in the coming years. Moody's have recently upgraded the rating of India as positive on account of our concrete steps in various economic fields. Friends, Indo-Chinese partnership should and will flourish. I expect very good outcome from this coming together. We have complemented each other in the past. We can complement in the present and future too. As two major economies in Asia, the harmonious partnership between India and China is essential for economic development and political stability of the continent. You are the factory of the world, whereas we are the back office of the world. You give thrust on production of hardware while India focuses on software and services. Similarly, Indian component manufacturers have been mastered in high quality precision, and the Chinese players have mastered the art of mass production. The component design expertise of Indian engineers and low-cost mass production by China can cater to the global markets in a better way. This industrial partnership of China and India can bring about greater investment, employment, and satisfaction of our people. Friends, let us work together in mutual interest and for progress and prosperity of our great countries. I will conclude by saying that now India is ready for business. You must be sensing the winds of change in India. I only advise you to come and feel the same. I assure you of my personal attention for your success. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
So that was the Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressing the India-China Business Forum in Shanghai, and he talked about, invoked really how both the countries need to work together for greater growth. They have the potential to realize growth for each other. He talked about how he expects a very good outcome of the coming together of both the nations, and he talked about how India is ready to business, and he's sure that the international community can sense the winds of change. He talked about the economic environment which has changed. It has become more transparent and more responsive. He talked about the measures that have been taken for doing ease of business in India. So really looking for more investment, particularly in the manufacturing sector, in the infrastructure sector, railways. He talked about the railway sector as well. He talked about historic opportunity that India provides for Chinese companies, talked about how rating agencies have changed outlooks for India and the kind of opportunities that lie for the global investor when it comes to India.
जी बिल्कुल, ऊर्जा का क्षेत्र हो, रेलवे का क्षेत्र हो, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का क्षेत्र हो, किसी भी क्षेत्र में एक खुला मंच प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने प्रदान किया है। एफडीआई इनफ्लो की जिस तरह से प्रियंका बात की गई है कि पिछले 1 साल में जिस तरह से वो बढ़ा है, उसकी जो दर है वो बढ़ी है, उस पर उन्होंने जोर दिया है और वो एक अच्छे आंकड़े पर जाकर रुका है। तो कुल मिलाकर एक स्वागत कदम माना जाएगा अगर एक 2 बड़े देश अगर आपस में मिलते हैं। यहाँ पर उन्होंने हार्डवेयर और सॉफ्टवेयर दोनों के तालमेल की यहाँ पर बात की है। अगर दोनों देश मिल जाते हैं तो दुनिया के सामने एक मिसाल कायम होगी।
Definitely, Jyotika, and he talked about the rationalization of a number of issues that were, giving problems to the investment climate in India. He talked about the taxation system, how that's becoming more transparent, stable and predictable. He talked about deferring the implementation of GAR, removing of retrospective taxation regime. So he's talked about a lot of issues which I'm sure would give the kind of boost that is needed for investments to grow when it comes to these Chinese companies wanting to invest in India.
जी बिल्कुल, इसके अलावा आज उनकी और भी गतिविधियां रहेंगी। इंडियन कम्युनिटी से वो मुलाकात करेंगे। आगे की जितनी भी उनकी यात्रा की बाकी गतिविधियां उस पर हमारी नजर रहेगी। हम अब तक ये खबरें पहुंचाते रहेंगे। फिलहाल प्रियंका, इस बुलेटिन में इतना ही। इजाजत दीजिए, नमस्कार।